Hi, this is Nick Aster with TriplePundit.com. I'm at the Sustainable Brands 2012 conference in San Diego, California. I'm here with Annie Longsworth. She is the CEO of Saatchi and Saatchi S. And Annie, tell me a little bit about what's new at Saatchi.
Well, I'm 6 months into my job as CEO at Saatchi and Saatchi S, and so it's been a really exciting time. We've kind of regrouped and figured out who we are, and we're going back to basics a little bit. We're going back to our original idea of how to make that Saatchi and Saatchi S can make sustainability irresistible. What we mean by that basically is, how do you talk to people, talk to businesses, talk to your shareholders in a way that sustainability becomes something they opt into more easily, becomes something that's really natural for them to participate in.
I love this idea of irresistible. One of the themes of the conference is driving consumer change, and by that we mean adoption of more sustainable practices, learning, and then taking that learning to the marketplace in terms of buying habits and so on. What do you think are the major factors, or some of the major factors that can drive consumers to get it when it comes to sustainability, to make it irresistible to those folks?
I mean, one of the things we spend a lot of time on is the language of sustainability, and how do you communicate a message around sustainability that actually is meaningful to a consumer. You know, in our research, consumers don't get excited by climate change, global warming, some of these sort of fear factor ideas, and they also don't understand the science behind it in a way that is really deep enough that it motivates them. So we try to figure out with our clients, how do you take a message that actually resonates with a consumer and use that as the way to get them to opt in more easily. So if you talk about health and well-being, then most families, most parents, most people in general will say that actually resonates for me. So if you can make the connection between a more sustainable behavior and the health and wellness of a family, then you're starting to make progress.
So here's a product or a service that I might be interested in buying, learning that this is something that's going to impact possibly the health of my family is probably a more compelling message than this will save some polar bears.
Yes, that is our theory. And that's a really sort of serious example. A lot of people opt into something because it's delicious, fun, sexy, exciting, tempting for them in one particular reason or another. And so you've really got to tap into what is most resonates for them.
And to what extent are companies driving this conversation, and to what extent are consumers creating this conversation among their own networks?
I'm really excited by the companies that know this is where we're going, that it's sort of an inevitable journey that we're going to be on, and they're getting ahead of their customers to some extent. So they're sort of creating a place for their consumers to get to, and it's risky. JCPenney, I think, is an interesting example from a social perspective of doing that. Walmart has done that to some extent. Patagonia, certainly. Sort of putting out there what they want us to want, and then helping us get there.
Sounds great. Annie, thanks so much for sitting down with me.
Yeah. Have fun.